Hey there, Signature Sellers. Ken Holden here. I hope everybody is doing fantastic. So today, what are we talking about? We're talking about, am I meant to be in sales? And I run a sales business for 24 years. We hired lots of people, and we've seen people from all walks of life with no sales background, with a sales background, great personalities, outgoing personalities, reserved personalities. We have so many people we've had join over the years and become really successful. So the question is, am I meant to be in sales? Sales is probably the oldest profession in history because everybody everywhere is selling something. Companies are selling things. The government is selling things to you. Your neighbors are selling something to you. Your kids are trying to upsell you everywhere. So everywhere you turn, sales exists. It's a lot like math. Math is in everything. It's just built into everything. And so is sales. Sales is part of every family. It's part of every relationship. It's part of every situation when a group of people are going out. What movie do we go to? People are involved in sales. They just don't get paid to do it. I've often, in the previous videos, made reference to the fact that I love Apple products. And even though I don't work for the company of Apple, they have me working for free because I'm passionate about their products. And so I talk about their products, etc. The question today is, am I meant to be in sales? The most common thing that I hear over the years is, I don't have a sales personality. It's not my personality. I'm just not outgoing. I'm not the person who lights up the room when I go into it. I shy away from that type of communication, etc. So this is a big thing that you hear over the years. I don't really have a sales personality. Now, my question is, what is a sales personality? I think what they mean is this very outgoing, loud, boisterous, aggressive style personality, and they equate that with what's being necessary to be successful in sales. It's just not a proper high-resolution view of how things work. In fact, there are many sales fields in which being that type of overwhelming, outgoing, light up the room personality actually is counterproductive and detrimental to your success. For example, in financial services, sure, you have to be friendly, you have to put people at ease, but being too loud, too boisterous, too pushy actually has the opposite effect of what you're looking for. So people with quieter personalities might fit in the financial services world, at least in some sectors. So there's a lot of notions out there about sales that people choose not to go into it. They generally say, I don't have the personality. They also have stereotypes. There are, unfortunately, in the sales world, this is why I'm doing this podcast, is to make you into a signature seller, someone who always operates in the best interest of the customer. And the unfortunate matter is there are lots of people who are in sales who are not in it for the customer's best interest, and they give the sales arena a very bad stereotype. So the reason why a lot of people avoid sales or feel like they don't go into it is because I don't know how to manipulate people. I heard that one time. I just don't know how to manipulate people. If you're a signature seller, you are not manipulating people. Remember the second or third podcast I did, it's about doing what's in the best interest of the customer because that's in everyone's best interest. Now, there is such a thing as using techniques, but that still has to be rooted in doing what's in the best interest of the customer. I've actually had people say to me, I just don't feel I can manipulate people. I have news for you. I don't manipulate people either. I influence people. And there's a difference between influence and manipulation. Manipulation is when you're doing something for your own benefit. Influence is when you're exerting that influence for people for their benefit. And so, again, if you're doing what's in the best interest of the customer, we are not manipulating people. In fact, I can tell you without question, if you know how to sell, you don't have to manipulate. If you know how to sell, you don't have to pull the wool over people's eyes. If you know how to sell, you don't have to embellish the features of your product or your service. In my sales experience, the people that we've had issues with or challenges with are people who don't know how to sell. And if they don't respond to the training, they end up embellishing the facts in order to make it sound better. And we don't like that. That's not a good thing. That's not what we are about. We are about selling legitimately in the best interest of the customer because you have a top quartile product or service. So I want to do away with this first thing about personality. You do not need a loud, outgoing personality. I just recently hired a lady. She was formerly an engineer. She's quiet and sort of to herself in terms of personality. Turned out to be one of our best recruits in a long time. And so she was very methodical. She's just like an engineer. She's got everything mapped out. She went through all the training tools. She figured it out, but she didn't have that outgoing personality, but she's very good in sales. She's not manipulating people. She's not taking advantage of people. And so sometimes we have these notions about what it means to be in sales, and that makes people hesitate. So sales is as old as the hill. It's been going on since the Garden of Eden or after the Garden of Eden. It's been going on for a long time. So what is sales? Sales is transferring belief to someone else, something you really believe in, something you use yourself, something you are confident in, that you can easily transfer that belief to someone else, okay? So it's really not something weird. It's not wild. It's something that you believe in so much and use yourself that you can transfer that belief to someone else by how you talk and your excitement. And I can tell you without question, I can give you example after example of people who were not in sales, but they were very much qualified to be in sales. Just to give you an example, how many 10-year-old kids who need a new pair of sneakers for basketball or tennis, and they're on the expensive side, like $500 or $400 or something like that, and they go into mom and dad, and they're chasing them around the house and explaining, now, here's what this is going to do for me, and the cushion is going to be better for the architecture of my foot. It's going to help me to jump higher if I'm playing basketball. And they start listing all the reasons why they need this pair of sneakers, trying to persuade mom and dad to do it. Now, they've never been in sales. They've never been to a sales seminar. They've never been trained in sales. But they instinctively know, no matter how quiet their personality is or how loud it is, they're persuading someone to do something for them, and they often convince their parents. Or what about a spouse who wants to take that dream vacation to some part of the world that they've never been to, and they start watching YouTube videos, and they start getting ideas about where they can go, and then every day they're at their spouse. Here's why we should go here, and here's something we never thought about before, and look at this price. I've got great airfare, and we have holidays coming up, and they literally start selling the vacation trip to their spouse until they close the sale, when the spouse either gives up or agrees to go on the vacation. And we could go through person after person with me and Apple products. Everywhere I go, I believe in the products, I use the products, and I start selling it to everyone. It just starts to happen. What you discover is that in sales, it's not about your personality type. It's not about manipulating people. It's not about taking advantage of people. It's about finding something you believe in, something you are passionate about, something that you use yourself, a top quartile product or service that you can actually go out and with energy and enthusiasm, just like that 10-year-old kid, or just like that spouse who convinces their spouse to do something on a vacation. That is what sales is about, is being passionate. It's less about technique, although there are techniques, and we're going to come up to that. But it's got to be in the best interest of the customer. But it starts with belief. Do you believe in the product or the service that you are selling? Are you operating in the best interest of the customer? Do you actually even like the customer? Do you have an interest in them? Are you curious about them and their lives and want to get to know them and talk to them and try to discover what it is they're looking for? Sales is so much more simple when it's sincere. A lot of people avoid going into sales because they've had such bad experiences themselves. So, for example, I just leased a car recently. Dealership was great. I won't mention the dealership or anything like that. The energy was high. Coffee when I came in the door. Would you like another cup of coffee? Sit down here. Conversation. What do you do for a living? There's energy everywhere. And if I didn't lease it right away, and then, of course, I came back second time, the same thing. Energy's there. The coffee is there. Phone calls. It's amazing, just the energy. So when I finally agreed to lease the car and I signed off on the form and put down the deposit, the guy literally waved and said, excellent. I said, oh, are you leaving? He said, yep, I got to run now. And I'm off. And the energy died. It just literally died. How many of you bought a car, you bought a house or whatever it is, and all the energy was up front, and the minute the sale was done, the energy died? What this does is it creates a stereotype. It leaves a really bad taste in your mouth for sales, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't want to be a salesperson. I have news for you. You can be a salesperson and not be like that. So in my sales experience leasing the car, afterwards, he didn't give me a brochure about the car when I left, and I never even thought to ask for one. He sent me a quick text, but I sent him back a text, never answered for hours. The energy wasn't there. I asked for photos of the car. He said he'd get them for me that night. The photos never showed up. I asked the next day very patiently, could I get a PDF on the car? Could I get photos on the car? Photos never showed up. The next day, I said, hey, I still don't have those photos, still trying to be patient. He said, oh, yeah, no worries. I've just been busy. I'll get it for you in a few minutes. And another 7 hours passed, no photos. Guess what? The photos never showed up. Typical car dealership, unfortunately, not all dealerships are like that, but typical car dealership, all the energy's up front around sales. The minute you make the sale, the energy dies. And that leaves a bad taste in the mouth of people, and it makes them not want to go into sales. So if I can influence you today and you're deciding, do I have the personality to go into sales? Am I meant to be in sales? Is sales for me? You first have to get rid of all of the ideas about what you think sales is, because it's embedded in life, it's embedded in your family, it's embedded with your friends, it's when you're deciding which restaurant to go to, it is everywhere. So everyone is in sales. Whether you're paid to do it or not, you're convincing someone somewhere to do something. Even if it's a social event, even if it's your kids persuading you to do something, or you're all going to a movie, which movie do we go to? And someone is pushing this movie and they're selling the movie. So sales is embedded, just like math, it's embedded everywhere in life on the social level. Everywhere you go, it is everywhere. It's unavoidable. So my question to you is, are you meant to be in sales? You don't have to have a certain type of personality. You don't have to manipulate people. All you have to do is find something you believe in, be passionate about it, and when you are, all of the stuff will come to the surface to actively be successful in that career. You are already in sales. You are already convincing someone to do something, and you're not being paid for it. So my question to you is, would you like to work from home? Would you like to have an unlimited income in the sense that you're not capped by a salary with a job? And would you like to have success in sales? Keep listening to our podcast. We're going to help you understand that being successful in sales is more about behavior and sincerity than it is about a typical type of sales personality. And again, are you meant to be in sales? I want you to think about it. And it's important. Find something you're passionate about, something you believe in, something you can use yourself, and you have no trouble selling it. So, for example, just closing with this, the car that I leased, I love it. It's awesome and got so many features. So guess what I'm doing? Everyone I meet talking about my car. What am I doing? I'm selling something I'm really enjoying, and people are now interested in buying that car. It comes naturally when you simply allow yourself to be passionate about something that you love as a product or service that's making a difference for you.